Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero here, and you're listening to my Tour Coach podcast. Tour Coach podcasts come from my stories, the interviews, my roundtable discussions, the day-to-day interaction with the people that I teach in my journey in the game of golf, whether it's tour players that I teach or tour players that have fired me, or heck, it's other teachers that I think the world of and respect, or it's mental coaches, performance coaches, or hey, maybe it's just people that have made an indelible mark on my teaching. Whatever it is, I hope this helps you learn more about the playing, the teaching, or enjoying the great game of golf. I sure as heck have fun doing this. I hope you all enjoy listening to it. We've got great sponsors. We've always got great guests. And one thing that we for sure do here on the Tour Coach is we keep it real. None of this is scripted. This is just authentic. This is the discussions and the day-to-day interactions that we have as the dew sweepers and teaching and trying to help all of you play better golf. And look, if you enjoy our instruction and you're somebody wanting to get better, why don't you come see us and get help for your game with our world-famous retreats, which are going to be at Old Palm Golf Club in Palm Beach Gardens with my good friends Mark Hackett, Dan Terleski, Colby Tuyek, Dr. Greg Carton, and a host of many, many more. Or you can come see me at my studio in Mobile, Alabama, or at the Preserve Golf Club. And remember, everything you need to play better golf is always going to be available for you at dewsweepersgolf.com. You can find out where I am and how to be on a podcast if you go there. Enjoy this edition of the Tour Coach. All right, so joining us here, we've been trying to do this for a couple weeks now. I'm here on the Tour Coach. We've had to do this remotely because we hadn't been able to all get together, but we got my boy Emilio Gonzalez, who's giving me. We're going to talk a little bit about hard shell tacos here in the middle of this. I want to get some important stuff, and we got Peter Knade, P. Knade, my boy P. Knade, and Jackson Koert. We've all worked together. Jackson's been great, kind of doing some coaching while the boys are over there on St. Simon's Island. But first of all, congrats to you two on getting through Q School to earn your Korn Ferry cards for the year. Pretty awesome stuff. I just kind of wanted to talk about, obviously, this podcast is we've done some crazy stuff. We've had all of you guys before, but, talk about your journey to getting your tour cards, because it's your Korn Ferry cards first step towards PGA Tour. Both of y'all missed it. Q School last year. So I kind of want to start with you on that, Emilio. I know we talked after you missed last year. You were frustrated, but I thought you did an unbelievable job of kind of using that to refocus you and also kind of set your course and set your task. And I remember a phone conversation you and I were having after Q School last year where you talked about some of the things that you learned from, not playing as much right up to Q School and some different things. Talk a little bit about what you learned from last year, how that's helped you this year. And then I want to talk a little bit about with Peter about the same things. And Jackson, you can chime in on any time. We allow you here to talk.
All right. Yeah. So, it was quite interesting. I missed the second stage of Q School last year, and I was pretty bummed out because I knew I didn't have really anywhere to play. I guess I took a couple of days off after that and decided to play Latin American Q School. Played well there, and then played the Latin Tour this past year, I guess. But it's obviously a really bumming moment because you really just sit down and you're like, well, kind of sucks because I don't have anywhere where to play right now. But the biggest thing that I learned too is I think I really abused of how much I played, how much tournament golf I played going up to Q School last year. So I show up to second stage of Q School and I was exhausted. I remember that. And you told me too, because I remember I went to see you a couple of days before I left the second stage, and I had just come back from first stage and then a tournament in Mexico. And it was big travel too. And I had barely a couple of days to reset and get going again in second stage. And obviously, as soon as I missed, I learned that and how much I just got to focus on. Really, Q School, it takes a lot out of you. It's more than just 1 week. It's not just a normal tournament. It's just as high stress as it gets. And that was a big thing, obviously. And another thing was, too, is I played really well at first stage last year, and then second stage, obviously not as well. But instead of going out and tinkering and thinking okay, this didn't work out, I'm going to go change this or that, I literally didn't change a single thing of what we've been working on in the last year and a half, I'd say. Our stuff literally stayed the same. We maybe spoke in different terms, but the long-term plan never changed a single time we worked together.
Was that hard for you? Was that hard to do? Because I think that's the big reason you had success this year. And Peter, I'm going to get to you in a second. I think exactly the same. You both have done, Jackson and I talked about this on the phone not long ago, just about the unbelievable jobs you two have done this year, sticking with your program. And being kudos to you guys, because that's the real lesson of this whole thing to me is how hard it is playing week in, week out, but sticking with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, as I told you, like I didn't change a single thing of like my 2-3 things that I was working on in my block practice and my technical work, I guess, if you want to put it that way. The only thing that I really changed was like my structure in practice, of being like disciplined with my time and the amount of golf swings I was really putting out there every single day and making sure I wasn't wasting any time or energy out there.
That's awesome. I think that's a hard lesson to learn. And we talked about this. We hit some balls on Sea Island, whatever it was, right after. It was RSM week. You and I met that one morning. And you talked about, better to have figured that lesson out now than later, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter, what about you? What about your journey? Take us through last year, the disappointment. What did you learn from it? I'll go ahead and say this. I've been hard on you this year, trying to keep you from jumping around a little bit. Talk about your process.
Yeah. Last year at Q School, that's interesting because like between when I look back at like where I was last year playing first stage and this year, like I felt like I was ready last year, but looking where I am now, I know I've come a lot further along just as far as like where I am and what we're working on and just kind of how my game's matured at the same time. And, I obviously missed it first stage last year, felt pretty good going into it, was playing really well going in and then kind of got things going a little wayward and was fighting it. And I think I learned from that this year because I didn't hit it great at first stage this year. It was kind of a similar deal. And I, just tried to get the ball in the hole and realized that, that's just golf. Sometimes you're not always going to hit it well. And then I missed Canada Q School by a shot back in March. And honestly, like kind of a blessing in disguise because I kind of chased the Mondays the previous summer with conditional status and, played some really, really good golf, even though it maybe didn't feel that way at the time just because I was missing at Monday Qs by, shooting 66 and, not having that go the way that it, you feel like it should when you're playing well, but doesn't feel like you're playing well. And it was, a chance for me to go play some smaller events and state opens and really pace myself heading into Q School this year. And I felt like I was really in a good spot, both physically and mentally going in this year.
Jackson, I'm going to get to you here in 1 second. But Peter, I think that one of the things that's important is you went and you played state opens and things. It's important to play 4 rounds or 3 rounds or whatever, with cuts. Like I think Monday qualifiers, I know I told you this story on the phone. I remember Bobby Wyatt when he turned pro, like went and did a bunch of Mondays in a month and he shot like 68, 67, 67, 68 or something. And he calls me. He's like, I'm playing terrible. Well, he's missed 4 Mondays. Like if you did that in a tour event, you'd have finished 12th, And so I think Mondays are misleading. Jackson, you've kept an eye on these boys as they've practiced and you've done such a great job coaching them along with me. How have you seen them grow through the year? And what do you think is the reason that they've had some of this success?
I think it's cool to hear them grow in their own respects, right? And it's a different perspective for each of them getting better. And I did have 2 questions, if you mind me throwing these out there.
Ask one and see if we like it.
All right. First one's going back to Peter. So you had talked about how your game matured and you weren't playing good at first stage, but you got it in the hole and just figured out how to score. So like, had that changed from the year before? And what was maybe the difference?
Yeah.
Or what you learned mentally in that?
Absolutely. I remember I was hitting it like as good as I'd like to heading into first stage last year. And I got to first stage and had like some weird shots come out of nowhere in the first round. And instead of just accepting it, like accepting the fact that I'm going to hit bad shots and going from there and just trying to get the job done regardless, I fought it and tried to figure out why why certain shots were coming up. And then this year, same thing happened at first stage. I had shots come out of nowhere, like super early on the first round. And instead of trying to fight it, I just told myself, look, I'm going to hit a lot of really bad shots this week, but I'm also going to hit some great shots. And, it's going to even out at the end of the week. And I know I'm putting well. So I had that to fall back on. And I also knew that like my mindset, because I was playing a couple of qualifiers for state opens this summer, and there were a couple of those state open qualifiers where I wasn't hitting it very good either. And I knew that the tournament was like 2 months ahead of time. And I was like, I know that I'm going to be able to put myself in a position to win the actual tournament if I can just get there. So that was kind of my mindset.
That's awesome.
That's pretty good for you, Jax. That's a good question.
Thanks, T. And then Emilio, you were talking about last year how you were tired, and obviously that's probably physically as well as mentally.
Yeah. Both.
Right. And like, I was just curious if you noticed anything in your play when you're tired, right? Like, is it decision making? Is it like you're just not finishing rounds coming home? How did being tired physically and mentally affect your play?
It's more than anything, like, obviously towards the end of every single round, you don't ever give up, but you're just more tired than usual. Definitely that. But like the other things too is like I at least start being like a little lazy with like my decision making, my process of like eating in the golf course, drinking enough water, stuff like that, And obviously you can't put yourself in that scenario in the middle of Q school, just because you need everything in your favor almost, like you got to do your best. And obviously if you're feeling that way, like it's not ideal. So yeah, I just think it's really important to make sure that you are competing and you got enough reps in you to go out there and just do your thing. But I think you also got to be careful with how much you do it, because if not, you can really burn yourself out there.
Was it decision making with shots as well?
Yeah, like really like lazy with picking targets and stuff like that. Like that's when I realize whenever I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Like I just go out and just like eyeball it, and I'm like, there's no precision out there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought both of you grew this year away from your golf swing in different ways. I thought, Peter, you got a lot better physically, and we got on you a few times. I know Colby wore your ass out a few times, and Jackson's laughing about this. And I remember at Ocean Reef one time.
Come on, Maryland. Come on, Maryland.
Come on, Maryland.
I still don't think Colby knows my name.
Probably not. He just calls you Tough, but that's okay. At least, he does know your name. But and then Morgan also, got to give a shout out to Morgan. Morgan did some really good stuff with you here in Mobile before second stage. And then Emilio, you've done some nice stuff physically. I know Colby helped you some, and you did some stuff out there in California for your feet and your hips.
Yeah.
But also, I thought with you, I thought where you grew the most, tell me if I'm wrong, and I want Peter to talk about his too, but Emilio, mentally, and how you you went through a little bit of a putting battle in the year, and you struggled, and then you kind of learned that it's okay to think some of the things that you do and how to handle some of that. Talk about that, because I think that's gold for people that are trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah. I mean, like I was in the middle of Latin season, and like a lot of the expectations were like kind of jumping on me. Like I was in right around the bubble of like 20th place of the money list, like obviously in a good spot with like 6 events left. And like, I just put a lot of pressure on me, and like, I was hitting it really well in the middle of that stretch. And I show up to this week, 3-week stretch. And like, I start like putting myself in these positions of like, I'm hitting it close a bunch, and I've missed 2-3 putts, and I'm already like just made up my mind that I can't putt, like just because like, like I'm just being really hard on myself and just trying to be so perfect with everything, and that goes a long way, and obviously I started tinkering a bunch of what to do, and is it my setup, if I'm doing this right or this, like switching putters all the time. And, like I just wasn't being fair to myself at all, like it was just the way the game was going for me. Obviously, sometimes it's just harder to get it in the hole, and even though I was hitting it great, I mean, it just didn't help at all. Like the mindset I was approaching into every putt. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it went. And obviously I learned from it. A couple of people helped me out to go through that phase, including you guys. So yeah, I mean, I was really fortunate enough to snap out of it fast enough, I guess, because it could go bad really fast if you're not careful in that route.
One of the biggest things I've learned from the people I work with, and I know we talked a little bit about this, but like Dr. Carton, Greg always talks about, like, once you realize that it's okay to think stuff, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Yeah. Like, it's amazing how much more freedom that gives you. And I've had the same thing in my teaching. Sometimes you doubt yourself, whatever, lose your confidence, but it's okay. Right. I think that's a big step. Peter, talk about you getting better physically. Maryland.
Yeah. Those first some of those workouts with Colby are pretty daunting. Like when you go through them and you realize how difficult they are. Cause like when you see other people do them, it doesn't look like it's that hard. And then you do it and you're like absolutely worn out for like a week. And I think for me, like, it was easier for me to just kind of like, I think just in general, like physical, mental, like just kind of, not having status, like golf wise, it was easy for me to get too far ahead of myself. And so I just started trying to focus on trying to get a little bit better each day, just to try to, break it down a little bit. And I felt like if I just kept doing that a little bit each and every day, then I would get to a point where I, would eventually start seeing some results. And that's where I kind of went with the physical stuff.
I want to talk a little bit of it now. And Jackson, if you got any questions, jump in. But we go to the finals week, I'm going to start with you, Peter, because you were, I think, 6 over through 14 holes, right? And I told Jackson this on the phone. That's what the comeback from there is, where you showed me how good you can be as a player. Okay. 6 over through 14, you birdie 3 of the last 4 or 5, whatever it is. And then you play great, obviously, the rest of the way in to finish easily inside the number. Take us through. I mean, what were you thinking? What did you do?
Yeah, those first 14 holes were tough. Like, it kind of got away from me a little bit, but it wasn't the first time in Q school that I had my back against the wall. And, honestly, like when I birdied 3 of my last 4 holes coming in the first round, and I was 3 over, and I knew it was on the harder golf course. So I wasn't like too stressed out. I knew I was going to have to play really solid the last 3 days, but I just kind of stayed the course and tried to just take it one shot at a time and really get into my own game and see where I stood at the end of the week.
I thought I showed me a lot. Emilio, I want you to talk about the story you told me about getting, I think it was 16 or 17, the par 3, and remembering the work we did at Old Palm. That's one of my favorite stories ever as a teacher. I loved it. Take us through that story. Jax, I don't know if you've heard it from Emilio. And then after this, I want to talk for a minute about hard shell tacos.
All right, I'll keep it simple. But obviously, all you guys know that I like to draw the golf ball quite a bit, especially with my irons and wedges. But yeah, I mean, I'm playing the last round of this year in Q school in final stage, and I'm hitting it pretty well, but like I'm just not getting the ball in the hole. Like I had a couple of 3 putts, and I'm just having looks like time after time after time, and I just haven't made a single one of them. And I show up to the 15th hole, and I miss a green in a fine spot, and I just don't get up and down, and I put myself against the wall with 3 holes to go, 16, 17, and 18, and I'm right in the number. And I get to 16, the par 5. I hit it on the green in 2. I put it off the green, chip it up to 5
feet. You didn't tell me that part.
Yeah. I put it off the green, chip it up to like 5 feet, and make it for par. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm fine. But
I could have gone another year without hearing that one.
Yeah. And then 17, it's like this 200-yard par 3. It's got like 5 shelves on it. It's a crazy green, and the wind's coming into off the right. It's not ideal with a right pin, back right pin. And me and Tony, last time we saw each other in Old Palm, actually, he told me, I bet you that at least once in Q school, you're going to have to either fight the right to left wind, because you can't just bring that sucker right to left all the time. And greens like that, especially, they're so firm. And I show up in this scenario, I'm like, well, I got to do it now, because if not, I'm going to bounce it in the middle of the green and roll it off, and I can't make another bogey. And I start this ball dead at the middle of this pin. It like fights the wind the whole way, lands like literally in the middle of the green and trickles to like 6 feet, and I make birdie. So I cruise through it then, and I don't show up to 18 like right against the wall, because it's a really tough tee shot.
Emilio was in the group behind me too, so we were like, could see what was going
on. Yeah, but it was
played
awesome.
Together one round. Didn't y'all play together the third round?
Played together at third round. Yeah.
Both played nice. I agree. Emilio, I told you, like, I remember sitting there at Old Palm saying, like, whatever shot you hit, like, it's easy to get comfortable, but at some point to earn your card and to get to the PGA Tour, you're going to have to be uncomfortable, and you're going to have to grow a set of balls and hit a shot you're not comfortable doing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like, and fortunately enough, like, we set a practice plan that was so solid that made me practice that golf shot,
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, like, my stock shot is always going to be a ball that's falling right to left.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I showed up in this scenario, I'm like, that just doesn't fit out there, because the ball had to start literally on the edge of the water and it was still going to land, and it was going to roll more. I was not going to stop it in that back right shelf. And yeah, I mean, it was just awesome to see that even outside my comfort zone, I was still able to perform.
That's awesome. Yeah. Jackson, as you watched them and coached them, obviously Peter and I and Emilio, we'd meet. We did a good job, I thought, especially towards the end of the summer, towards the stretch, staying consistent. Peter, I think we got to do better than that this year. I think we got it, but I think where you have a set schedule is going to help enormously. That's, I think, one of the hardest things about coaching guys without status is you're always running from here to there to here to there to find a place to play, right? I think when you have a schedule, that helps a bunch.
A lot, yeah.
But Jackson, what was your secret to coaching them in between visits with me? I thought we did a nice job, you and I communicating. I thought a couple of times we had a little come to Jesus meeting, and we said, hey, we got to not try to add information. We got to stick to what we're doing. Talk a little bit about the coaching process.
I think for me, it's pretty easy because obviously you guys have a plan put in place and you've stuck to it, and you guys have done phenomenal, and that's why you've seen results. And the other reason it's easy for me is I think it's a great opportunity for me to learn. Like, I like just asking questions and kind of hearing what you guys are thinking and what you're trying to do. And a lot of times you give me the answers for yourself, if that makes sense. It's like, it's just like talking this stuff through and having some reflection in that 2020 hindsight vision, like Peter was talking about, how he learned to have acceptance. And I think you can have that same ability to look back and learn just on your practice for the last month or the last 2 months or the tournament stretch that you're in. So I think for me, I learn a bunch just by asking them questions and hearing what they're working through in between sessions with you.
I love it. Now, how are we getting ready for January for your kickoff? What are your thoughts on how you guys are going to prepare? I think you've both done a nice job taking time off. And I mean that sincerely. Like, you got to get away from it. You can't. I mean, I think these people that get their Korn Ferry card and they just go start beating balls, I think next year is going to be even more of a grind. What are your thoughts? You taking some time off, enjoyed it. How are we going to get ready?
I think I've played too much golf since Q school ended, but it's been fun golf.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think booze golf is the same.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the pictures. There wasn't a lot of grinding.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is just like, since it's so difficult to just keep up with like full on workout schedules throughout a tournament week, like I feel like this stretch of time coming up is like the big opportunity to really take a stride in that, at least for myself physically, because I feel like that's where I have probably the most room to grow. So E and I are going to go out to California in like a week and spend some time out there and do some physical stuff and get a program, in place for my own limitations and go from there. So
what do you think, E? What are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it. I mean, since final stage, I think I've only played golf like 5-6 times, maybe. And I think I'm going to keep it that way probably for a couple extra weeks, like until the Jingle Bell. I got to prep for that.
I mean, it is the 5th major. It's an odd time
major for me, man. Nah, but I'll play the
Peter,
Jingle
why
Bell.
are you not playing in the Jingle Bell?
What do you mean? I thought I was.
Are you?
When
Do you
is
have
it?
a partner? December 9th to 11th.
Oh, I don't think I can. I've got previous engagement.
I actually think I remember that. All right, back to your Jingle Bell prep, Emilio.
I'll play the Jingle Bell, then I'm heading home to Mexico to renew my visa, because if not, I can't even play the Korn Ferry Tour.
That's probably a good reason to go do that.
And also spend Christmas with my family and take care of that stuff, since I can't be home very often. But I will do that, and I'll start prepping from Mexico. I have some facilities I can go to and do my thing. But once I get back, we'll get together in Old Palm, hopefully a couple days, or just in South Florida overall, so we can get some good work in. But definitely, like, my focus for the next few weeks is just enjoying myself, having a good time, and obviously I'm going to put a lot of good work in the gym. Like Peter said, it's just hard, and once you get going in the season, man, like, you can't do, like, at least for myself, like I don't gas myself out in the gym before a first round of a tournament. You know, I definitely do all my stuff that keeps me moving good, but I'm not lifting a bunch. I'll say that, and I'll probably do all that lifting stuff in the upcoming months.
I love it. I'm looking forward to golf camp this year. It's going to be fun down there at Old Palm. I think we're going to see if Moose can take us out to the Floridian's my favorite day we go out there. I love that. But we'll have some good time. Jackson, what are your thoughts on the rest of the offseason and how we get the boys ready?
I love it. I'm just using Mariners Chalice to prep for the Jingle Bell, really.
I mean, Emilio, how many shots do you think we should give Jackson?
A lot, based on today.
No, based out of today?
Tequila.
You're always hard on yourself. You're always hard on yourself. You don't deserve as many as you say.
I think he should get 3.
Three?
Yeah, I hit the 3.
I've played 12 holes since July 18th.
Dude, your partner hits a 350 and gets like 10 shots.
I didn't even know that. Emilio,
fairway.
I didn't even know that. Thank you for telling the handicap committee.
350 in the
I was
wrong
hitting balls
fairway.
next to Jackson on the range today, and it was an absolute stripe show. So,
Oh, I know. He's so mean. He's a stripe show, and he rolls his rock. He'll wear the white belt. He'll get in there with the visor, and he's just going to roll it right down his line. Last year, they made like 600 feet of putts or something that one. But anyway, guys, one, thanks for all taking the time to come on and do this. I know you got a bunch going on with the Mariners Chalice. 2, I've told Jackson this. I told Yvonne this. You guys are part of the best group of young talent and players I've had work with me in forever. I mean, since the early days with Bobby and Robbie. And man, I'm so pumped about how much you guys have grown and all the stuff we're doing. We're going to have some fun next year. But before we go, so Emilio, when I come out to a Korn Ferry event and we do Taco Tuesday, I want you to explain why I'm not allowed to get hard shell tacos. I don't understand this person.
First of all, if we do a Taco Tuesday, I will be the one cooking the tacos in my place. You're not allowed to going out to. I'm just annoyed that every time you go for tacos, all you get is like hard shell tacos with sour cream and some guac, man. Like, that's just not a taco, man.
Okay, first of all, I don't get sour cream, but okay, go ahead.
Like, hard shell tacos is just a Taco Bell thing, man. It's not a Mexican thing.
All right, and why can't I get queso?
It's not a Mexican thing either, man.
It's not.
It's not, man. I mean, cheese.
So Taco Bell's been lying to me.
Yes. All the Tex-Mex is just not Mexican food, man.
Okay. All right. You've changed me. I texted you a picture the other day.
You did.
Thanksgiving weekend down in the Keys. I ordered an unbelievable fish taco, and I got it with the soft shell.
Okay. It's not a shell, man. You can't call it a shell.
What is it?
Tortilla.
I knew it. I knew I could get him to say it. All right. All right. You guys are the best. Have a great Mariners Chalice. Jackson, thanks for all the help. Peter, Emilio, hell of a job. We're going to have a fun January. I'll see you at Old Palm, and I guess Almost a month. Almost a month.
Yeah.
You guys have fun. Don't drink too much this weekend. See you soon.
All right. All right.
Dave,
Thank you for having us.
so much.
Yep.
Absolutely. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Tour Coach. I want to take a minute and thank Cordy Walker and Golf Science Lab, as well as my sponsors Shrixon, Buick, Bushnell, and Vineyard Vines for helping make all of this possible and helping me share my insights with you. If you like what you've heard, why don't you check out more on the Dew Sweepers channel on YouTube, as well as the Dew Sweeper on Instagram, or go to dewsweepersgolf.com to find out more about my teaching, my travels, and where you can find out more about me.